Hello and welcome back to the Gooners Pod-A-Thon, 27 hours, which is an oddly timed one, in aid of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Aston, first question is, how many careers have you guys ended since I've been on? Because seemingly Simon Collins' reputation has gone down the drain. These are sinking Arsenal scouting's careers. Amy Lawrence, I think, has no reputation intact. Mike,
oh no, Amy Lawrence has all reputation intact. She's impervious to. Did you see how well I behaved when she was on?
Listen, Mike is like the Aaron Ramsey of destroying people's careers. Like anytime he does something good, somebody's career has to end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I forgot about that whole thing.
He uses people's careers and reputations as stepping stones to his own ladder of success.
Even his own son. I saw him use his own son.
So
you do what you have to do.
Look, man, you're absolutely killing it. It's been a sock fest. You've been complimenting each other way too fucking much for my liking. What I want to do is inject some life back into this bitch. Now, Mike, everybody here knows that you are probably most prolific at this stage for doing the Sunday roast with Danny from a Bear Camp Wonderland, of which I absolutely love the jingle. So we're going to play a game between the three of us called The Best and Worst. Okay, and what I want you to do right now is come up with an off-the-cuff jingle for the best or worst. Take it away.
All right, here we go. The best. The worst.
I love the way me and you are putting the most effort in it, and we're like the least hip hop people in the world. It's like you're like a large Jewish American man, and I'm like a pasty Irish kid.
And then actually just like, can I get out from under these people, please?
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thanks for that, Mike. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to name a category, and then you have to give me your favorite thing in that category and your worst thing. So we'll start with the favorite thing, and we'll do a round table around the three of us, and then we'll stick with the same category and go back round again. So we'll start with you, Mike, and chat, get involved with this as well, because sometimes we lose track of our thoughts, especially when people are operating on 9 hours sleep in 2 years. So your favorite player of all time, Mike?
Oh, I mean, this is an easy one. David Rocastle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's well known at this point that Rocky was the pinnacle of your Arsenal support back in the day.
Rocky will always be my answer to that question. I don't care what happens with Bukayo Saka. It will always be Rocky.
Aston?
Another really easy one for my era. It was definitely Danny. No, Thierry Henry. Obviously, it's easy.
See, this is a really weird one, and I get super paranoid about this one because people think that because of the events that unfolded that this is like a hipster answer to this, but I genuinely have the photos to prove it. But mine was because I was a kid and he was a beautiful man, which was Jose Antonio Reyes. I absolutely fell in love with that dude when he signed.
You've been on record with that before, I think.
Yeah, I loved him. But now, when I reflect and look back at probably the longevity of it, Thierry Henry is obviously the honest answer. But, shout out to Jose Antonio Reyes. Your least favorite player of all time, Mike?
For the Arsenal?
No, for anybody at all.
For anybody? Least favorite player. You know, the funny thing is, as much as I hated Joey Barton, I loved watching him because you just never knew what was going to happen. Yeah, I didn't love watching him when he was playing against us. I mean, that 4-4 game, my God, that gives me nightmares still. But like I enjoyed watching him. So, and then the Marseille thing with the accent. I mean, you can't do any better than that. At unintentional comedy. That's
like Andy with his American accent.
Yeah, I mean, it's bullshit. It's been 6 years. It's not funny anymore, Andy. Truly least favorite. Like what makes a footballer your least favorite? Is it that you hate them because they always hurt you and they're good, or you just find nothing remotely appealing about the way they play?
Hate is hate. It's sort of that's down to your own discretion, I suppose.
Yeah, like there are no category. No, funny thing about the Joey Barton thing, QPR when he was there actually practiced behind my house in Deltona. over the summer. And then Joe, because we have a field that was like, is the best field, like it's called Dewey Booster. It's like the best field in the Central Florida area. And then Joey Barton got denied a passport. So my friend could not like heckle him at the practice, which is all we wanted to do. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So least favorite,
Joey Barton.
No. Again, no. I mean, all those guys: Cantona, Joey Barton, DeCanio, Vinny Jones. I mean, you hated them, but you'd love to watch them because they were always going to be up to something. My least favorite player, I had an answer and it just slipped out of my head. Oh, I'm legitimately going to go with Heung-min Son.
Really? Yeah. I suppose one of the reasons he's hateful in my eyes is because there's nothing worse than a cunt that tries to play the nice guy.
I want you to see. I've named 7 cunts who own it, and 1 who won't, and that's the differentiator for me.
Yeah, Puka says diving bastard. That's one of the things as well. Yep. Aston.
I mean, it should be real as easy as my answer for my favorite. It's fucking John Terry. Are you kidding me?
There you go. Well, yeah. I mean, you've got all the reasons in the world to hate him, but like, yeah.
Like my God, like I've never met a person that just did a series of the worst things in a row like that, like in the limelight. Like it's.
How do I top being a racist, aggressive, anger management person? Oh, I'll go fuck Wayne Bridges' wife or something like that.
And then he had the audacity to have the media take that picture of him in his underwear. Like, remember, everything he's done I've hated. The best thing he did was fall. Remember when he fell in the 5-3 against Chelsea with Van Persie and Walcott scoring? Wonderful, fucking wonderful.
Yeah, no, that guy is a grade A irredeemable cunt. Not even the Cantona kind, but like just nothing fun about him at all. Great leader of men, apparently, though.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go for and I've still to this day I can't say his name without starting to get angry sweats, and it's Ruud van Nistelrooy. I absolutely fucking despise that prick.
Mark from Australia could never stand Van Nistelrooy.
Thank you. He's a fuckwit. I hate it. Quite like the Heung-min Son thing, always the victim, you know. And I think for me, I could be wrong, but in my mind, he was the first player that really took in that sort of dive-in deceitfulness, over dramaticness into the Premier League, and I think he was the catalyst for that change. So I actually hit his face on a dartboard when I was younger in my bedroom. I hated that bastard. The next one.
Look at Tom making it all about himself. Mike managed to put Cantona and see you next Tuesday in the same sentence. He couldn't help it. You know, it's not always all about you, Tom.
Don't worry, we're gonna talk about podcasters later in this list.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm just fucking with you. I wouldn't do that.
Who's your worst for Arsenal player, though? Let's limit it to
least favorite Arsenal player.
Yeah,
least favorite Arsenal player. I have one.
Go,
Sammy Nasri.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
And it was more. I mean, it was more kind of after he left, which opens up a whole nother definition. But even while he was here, you could tell the guy was just a douche. I mean, in the moment, the most I have disliked an Arsenal player of all time is, of course, Granit Xhaka against Crystal Palace. In that moment, and for quite a while afterwards, I've softened my stance on that, especially knowing some, of his kind of humanitarian and fanitarian type of things that he's done on kind of a quiet lowdown basis. And when I think about that, like, inviting someone to a game, spending time with them, doing things off camera, Samir Nasri would not have done any of that shit. So,
yes, he was the worst.
He's got to be the guy.
I always had a thing. And
what did Squalachi ever do to you, Jeff? I mean, like what other than suck? What did he
fucking
ever do?
Born? He breathed. I always, and this isn't his fault. It's more the management for continuing to play him. But fuck me, Alex Iwobi. That man, he aggravated me.
Don't like him?
Bad. It isn't that I don't like him. He's maybe a lovely, lovely dude. I
He
don't
is. I
know.
talked to him a couple of weeks ago. He is a very lovely
Yeah,
guy.
he could be a sweetheart, but fuck, man, it was so frustrating to watch him take up space in that Arsenal team at that stage. It was just, it was. Do you know one of those
He
ones where you
scored the
look
greatest Arsenal European Cup final goal of the last.
No, I'm
15
not saying
years.
that I hate him. That's not what I'm saying. If it was
Oh.
hate, probably Adebayor or even Alexis, but that was because he let me down so bad because I love that dude so much. But Aston, Arsenal.
Well, I would give you guys an answer, but I've actually done like an official video for Arsenal, so I legally can't like.
You're using the Carvacciun excuse now.
No, I'm kidding. It's a very, very hard tie, and people are going to understand the first one and not understand the second one. But it's Mustafi. Is the easy one just because I cannot stand him making a mistake and doing this. Like I just could not watch him make a mistake and blame everybody else around him. Like what am I supposed to do? What's going like?
That's what a 5-year-old child does.
But the one people aren't really going to like, the one that frustrated me the most, much like your Alex Iwobi, Theo Walcott. I used to hate how Theo when we were not winning games, he just put on the same bland, personality-less expression, didn't seem to give a care when we lost games. Didn't seem to like just oh yeah, man, we were out there, we played the game, and we didn't win. That's whatever happens, we were out there doing our best. We really deserved to win the game, but we
wanted
did
it more. You can tell they wanted it more. That's what he said about the first Monday night.
Oh my god, they used to kill me.
Jeff says the celebration for City running the distance of the pitch to celebrate in front of the away fans, the most classless thing I've ever seen a footballer do on the pitch. Is that more or less classless than wiping your ass with the corner flag the game after you took a shit during the second half, which is the Jason Punchin story? I think that was the most. I personally find that very classy.
At least he had the decency to move to the side of the pitch and just didn't shit in the middle of it like Gary Lineker, the scumbag.
Yeah, that's the only one that I know about. Wait, elaborate on this story. Give me the lore for this, because I know the Gary Lineker story.
The Jason Punchin apparently, and this isn't classic. This is classic, not classless. Jason Punchin went in, I think, as a second half sub when he was playing for Southampton. Disappeared from the pitch for about 5 to 6 minutes. Sheepishly tried to sneak back on the pitch, but the announcers and the entire crowd found him out, and a chant goes up from the home end. He shits when he wants. He shits when he wants. Jason Punchin. He shits when he wants. Next game, he scores a goal, runs over to the corner flag, and starts wiping his ass with it.
Incredible.
It was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And from that point on, my original Arsenal friends, Rio, Rob Ford, and John Horlick, we called taking a shit a punchin'. Like the word, we're like, I gotta go take a punchin'. We still call it that. I think my kids used to call it that. So that's how pervasive it was. So that
passed down from generation to generation of the family.
Yeah, we were just talking about traditions and values we need to pass on to future Arsenal fans.
I almost
taking a punchin'.
I almost brought that up to Amy Lawrence, but I decided not to at the
end. Next category, lads.
The Jimmy Bullard celebration, by the way, was that the?
Yeah, that was fucking unreal too.
Oh, that was incredible. Was that Wolves or Blackpool? That was
Wolves.
Blackpool. Wolves.
No, it was Wolves. Yeah. Next one, stadiums. Any stadiums?
I know what stadium's your least favorite.
Oh, fucking it actually is my least favorite by a country fucking mile.
Selhurst Park.
The Selhurst is my least favorite.
Least favorite stadium and worst few hours of our 48 hours together. Apparently.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong, man. It was good. We were all pretty fucking hungover. It was a heavy night.
Pretty bad, yeah.
Day before, and then I don't know. It was right around that time so it was Newcastle Palace at Selhurst.
You had the foresight of getting us out of there before we were stuck on the platform at the train station with a bunch of pissed off Geordies.
Yeah, because the Geordies were losing. It was right around the time that takeover had happened. There was a lot of anti-Saudi banners come out in the Palace end, and there was a lot of people wearing towels on their head, and
there were like white Geordies wearing towels on. I mean, it was the most ridiculous thing, but
it was just antagonizing on both ends, and it was like, man, there's only one way this is going. But not even that, man. You have to say, even if you want to take a piss in Selhurst Park, you have to disturb every single person.
Well, on our seats, I've sat in the neutral sections of Selhurst Park probably 4 or 5 times. Those were by far the worst seats I've ever purchased. And they weren't even together, which is a whole nother story. But that day, that was when you take a good thing and you take it a little too far. We should have skipped that one.
But it was fun. Then we got back and we got pissed off again, and it was great.
So that's your least favorite.
What about yours?
It's almost like a newlywed game. Like, I'll pick your least favorite and you pick mine. Least favorite ground. London Stadium, West Ham.
Did you not like it? No.
Oh, it's fucking awful.
The steps?
Not the steps. The distance from the pitch. I mean, I've been there 3 or 4 times. Oh no, the steps when we went there. That almost killed me.
I thought we lost you.
But just those weren't awful seats. But the other places I've sat where you should be closer to the pitch, but you're still super far away. It's just.
Maybe it was the fact that
that game
I was expecting the atmosphere to be so bad.
The atmosphere at that game was the best I'd seen it in any game that I'd been to at London Stadium out of the 4, because they beat Spurs that day, and it was fun for us, and that's where the video was. So that was a pretty fun day and not so bad. But the other times I've been to London Stadium, it's just it's awful to get to. There's nothing around it. There's no pub that's on the street adjacent to it. There's nothing. And then when you leave, it's like, the one good thing about it is the guy shouting from the fucking building.
That was the best part of the whole trip. It was the Aston. There was this dude in like this multi-story apartment complex, but it was fucking huge. I'd say he was easily 350, 400 feet up. And he was hanging over the balcony shouting to everybody, "Shut the fuck up!" because they were chanting. But then everybody,
4,000 people walking down the street, like
and those 4,000 people synchronized to turn around and tell him everyone was telling him to jump, you fucking idiot.
What? That's literally incredible. I feel like the kid that has, like, the kid at school that, like, maybe doesn't have the same means as everybody else, kind of has to lie about having a pool at home. He's like, yeah, my butler's butler takes care of my pool and deals with the pH. You know what that's like, right, guys?
Yeah,
like,
but you can suck in atmospheres and stuff in stadiums.
And Exploria Worst Stadium, is that what we're coming here to say?
Well, Camping World does kind of suck, but that's why we didn't get a World Cup game. No, you know what? I'm going to go off of vibes, and my vibes, and it's really weird to say because it's a beautiful stadium, but the Allianz Arena for Bayern Munich, just because that was when I was convinced we were cursed. Like, I literally watched that game. Remember that game? Does anybody remember? We were written off, and Pep Guardiola was running Bayern, and we were blowing them out. I mean, Ozil had that penalty like right off. We were just in it. We were doing everything right, and then just immediately like Szczesny red card. It just convinced me we were cursed, that nothing we could do could overcome that arena. So.
What about your favorite, Mike? Now we're going to exclude the Emirates and Highbury from this, obviously.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go there, but the my favorite, and since we brought stadiums from outside of Europe in there, I have to go with Signal Iduna, which is the Borussia Dortmund Stadium. Been there twice now. Phenomenal, unbelievable place. And if you haven't been there, you have to go there at some point in your lifetime. Domestically, interestingly enough, other than the awful game experiences I've had there, I rate Selhurst Park very highly. Selhurst Park and Loftus Road, probably Ruben Loftus Road. I think are two of my favorite, because it's just that old, that where the air kind of cuts differently. It's just the smells and the air and all. It's just those old style stadiums that Highbury kind of, it reminds me of Highbury. So domestically, I go with those two. but overall, Signal Iduna is unreal.
Aston?
So I'll go off of personal experience, and that's got to be, weirdly enough, it has to be as shitty as it is, Camping World, because there was nothing like that preseason game against Chelsea. That's the closest I've ever gotten to, like, you know, seeing a professional match, and have that energy that night was electric. And yeah, it was an incredible experience. And I've gone to Camping World. That's where I saw my first legends, right? I saw Kaká play for the first time at Camping World Stadium. So I'll take it. Orange Bowl, USA.
So that Camping World's the first place that you ever saw Kaká?
Yeah. Well, until I learned that it was a punch-in.
Until you stayed in the Airbnb with me for an hour.
I'm gonna go for a favorite outside of Arsenal. Celtic Park, Parkhead. Is probably.
I've only heard how great it is. I can't. That's on my bucket list.
It doesn't matter who they're playing in the Scottish Premiership. The atmosphere like that is like Wembley on a cup final day, or Anfield on a Champions League night. It's just absolutely insane. You talk about an atmosphere. I don't think anywhere comes anywhere close to Celtic Park, and I've never actually even been to an Old Firm derby up there, which is something I do need to tick off the bucket list.
Yeah, that's for some reason there's always an Old Firm when I come over to Europe, and I can never make it because of like a conflict with other games that we're going to. But that is on my list. Although I'm not even kidding. We looked at the tickets the last time we were over, and I was like, if we were to actually go as crazy as to miss an Arsenal game to go to an Old Firm, what would it cost us? £800 a ticket.
Yeah, it's insane, and not only that, it's a pain in the arse if you're coming from England too, because they have to have those games at 11 o'clock kickoff normally. I think it is, to avoid drinking and stuff like that, which obviously it doesn't stop drinking. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's what it's for. Is to stop the pubs filling up too early and everyone getting fucked up, but it doesn't work. But yeah,
it seems like it would work the opposite way they expect. You're just telling us to drink earlier.
Yeah.
The night before.
I'll get up at 3 a.m. and start drinking.
The next one, lads, managers.
Before we get to that,
ahead.
we are now at the 10 o'clock hour Eastern time, 3 a.m. Pacific time, and our guests are going to start filling up the box now. So we're going to do a prize draw real quick. And then we can invite Harry in to play this next game with us while we wait for the rest of the crew to come in. But we are now in is this hour 20 that we're now in? Let's see. It is 10 a.m. Yes, hour 20 of 27. Please go to goonersvcancer.com. Enter to win. We have 9 prize draws left, and they are incredible prizes that you can win. And we're going to pick one right now. This is the penultimate piece of Ruth Beck art on offer, and it is the gold trophy for the Invincibles. So we are giving this away to a lucky winner who has not won a Ruth Beck print yet. So let me go ahead and get the screen shared. Harry will be with you in a second, my friend. All right, the winner. Let's get it on the first pick. Come on, I don't want to have to keep picking here from people who have already won prints. The winner of the Ruth Beck art print, Craig Thornburg. All right, Craig. Craig from Fort Lauderdale. Great guy who we met. Aston, I think you probably met Craig while we were in Orlando.
Yeah, Craig's a great friend. Golf course Gooners, shout out, wonderful supporters club, and just a great all around guy. So
Craig from Fort Lauderdale. Tom's from Gulf Coast. Craig from Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, he's from Fort Lauderdale. Oh, that up.
He brought some people with him to the game, and they had a great time. In fact, he was in Baltimore as well. So it was a great time. Let me just quickly mark this down. Gold trophy, Craig Thornburg. All right, congratulations, Craig.
And remember, guys and girls at home, when anybody says anything bad about Arsenal ever, you just remind them yours is gold.
Yep. and our trophy is gold as well. We are now the total raised from this effort to yesterday and today for the Pod-A-Thon is now standing at $4,798. We are going to get there. I have no doubt. We need to beat last year's record of 5,000, just over 5,000. So let's get that done. Harry looks like he's relocating and he's taking a spot. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to come on, my friend.